is Simon Kassiate. Good morning, Simon, and welcome to the gang.
The
Happy New Year.
spokesperson of Potholes.
Good morning, Oscar. Happy New Year to your listeners, and an incredible Happy New Year to the gangsters across the table.
Thank you, thank you. Be kind, Honorable Semujo.
Spokesperson of Kampala Potholes.
I will say nothing more.
Good morning, Honorable Semujo, and Happy New Year to you.
Yes.
Looks like you've gone back to blue shirts. This is, I guess, encouraging. If you're back to blue shirts.
It's a new development.
It's a new development.
I have never abandoned them.
Blue from which direction?
Katonga. For now, let us just accept the blue shirts.
This is a Katonga man.
And we have Ofonopono. Ofonopono, interestingly, in a yellow T-shirt. You are most welcome to gang. Happy New Year, Ofonopono.
Thank you, Oscar. I thought it should be the obvious that I should have been a yellow T-shirt or a yellow shirt.
This one looks like
The last time I saw anything yellow,
this one.
the last time I saw any yellow, it was a yellow overall. But now this is a yellow, bright yellow.
Donated, so
No, the weather has changed, as you can see. You need to be free, get fresh air, be light in this hot sun. Yeah.
Welcome, Honorable Kateshumba Dixon. I saw you on television, sitting comfortably in a speakers conference. You're most welcome to Ghana.
Thank you very much, Oscar. I don't know what comfortable means, but I'm glad to be here.
Like on the brink of about to doze. You know what happens in those conferences.
Or like the next speaker.
Yes, you've had a break and you are seated in there. Yes.
If he wants to be next speaker, he has to wait for another 15 years.
I think a little bit more.
Because Anita has to do her 10.
Yeah.
Then there will
Then
be
Tayewa.
Tayewa. That's it. So
and anyway, so most welcome to gang.
Thank you.
Have missed you, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you and all the listeners and the gangsters.
Happy New Year to Nafi.
Happy New Year, Oscar.
Welcome to gang.
And to our listeners. Ofononga, you're happy?
yeah, to see you.
Okay. That's understandable.
Right. So first topic today
Is it
was,
Jesus?
the Moses. I was greeting you as you were busy moving chairs around. Happy New Year to you, Moses.
Happy New Year, Oscar, my colleagues in the studio, and our listeners out there.
Okay. So, Honorable Semuju, we can have a discussion beginning. We were supposed to. Here we go. KCCA ED is coming on the show. She's not yet inside the studio. I'm told she's in the car park. What are you looking, and then after that we'll discuss the conference, the speakers conference. What do you look forward to, because your constituency is just right next to Kampala? What are the expectations of Kampala?
ED, apart from sharing information that she has, I don't think she's at the beginning or end of the things in Kampala. Because once government has not provided money in the budget to do roads, even if you bring out to the capital gang 100 times, the potholes will remain. And I think Mr. Museveni has known how to deal with the population. He does what Wanyankole call kugumaza. The SFC has one grader. In the morning it is at Old Kampala. In the evening it is in Kololo. And you're all told that SFC is going to fix potholes in Kampala. So let the ED explain to the country that we don't have money to do roads in Kampala, and that money they don't have. When Jennifer Musi was the executive director, at that time I think Museveni wanted to take over Kampala. I don't know what had happened. Maybe the politics motivated him. Because the budget of Kampala grew from about 300 to 640. And there was nearly 200 billion to do roads in Kampala. That money reduced to about 40. Occasionally you have World Bank and other donors, Japan, who will come to do either Satani Bridge, who will come to do So the major construction that you will see here is not one that is budgeted and funded for by Uganda. So today, I am told, I haven't gone through the budget proposals for next financial year, but I'm told the money that we borrowed from World Bank to do roads in Kampala and Wakiso and Mukono, Kampala Metropolitan, that money has now been reflected in the budget. So the hope is not in the ED coming here. My hope is in that money being processed and does the road. And by the way, this was on the initiative of the World Bank itself.
No.
Because at that time they said the roads in Kampala were fairly motorable roads in Kampala. So Kampala was unleashing its traffic in the evening to the neighbors. You go to Chira, the roads at that time in Nakao were fair, okay? Then you go to Chira and you meet all the jam, the roads are bad. So they did a study themselves and came up with that proposal of more than $1 trillion to fix roads in Kampala Metropolitan. So here, apart from saying hello, happy new year, there is nothing that I'm going to ask the ED because the money is not provided.
Well, that's why,
because if the money had been provided, the KCCA is just a contracting agency. If you give them money, they will pick a contractor and contract out a road. So if you don't give them money, no amount of explanation, no amount of appearance is going to change anything in town. So these Oponos and Moses Biarwanga, these employees of Mr. Museveni, they should be the one to tell their boss that please, you need to fix Uganda's face. I want to repeat that. You need to fix Uganda's face before you go to do some roads somewhere.
The battles.
The Moses coming on to you, I thank Star Cafe in between Namfi, Katesh and OO. Everyone is munching a samosa right now.
No, at least Katesh. Ofonopodo is using both his hands and legs.
And has two on.
He's stepping on one samosa using his two hands to...
So only Moses was still free and available. Namfi, Katesh and
Namfi is busy today.
She has finished.
As you were speaking, she did not.
I didn't have breakfast.
So Moses, KCCA says they have a strategic focus for 2024 to enhance the city's economic growth so that the city prospers and the residents thrive. Will they achieve that?
Yeah. Well, the ED will talk more about that. But what I know for a fact is that in our manifesto of NRM, we provided for the roads in Greater Kampala. And I think Honorable Semuju, Greater Kampala, Metropolitan, meaning, which includes mainstream Kampala, Wakiso, and some parts of Mukono, and some parts of Mpigi.
Chile.
I said Wakiso, because of Wakiso. Most of Wakiso, like Kira, like Nansana, this area, as you go to Entebbe, Zana, all that is part of Greater Kampala. In fact, I was telling Nafi here, somebody who stays in Kira, if you told them they don't stay in Kampala, they will riot. For them, they stay in Kampala. Now, I know so we provided the money, we provided you for it. In the budget...
When did you?
In the manifesto of this Kisanja, 2021-26, that we shall work on the roads in Greater Kampala. And I was saying that a person like Semuju should be honest enough to tell the public that even in his own constituency, the road from Kira to Kasangati, as it goes up to, I think, Matuga, is under construction. In fact, it's about to be completed. It's under construction. So, as part of the Greater Kampala roads, I'm sure you know this.
No, that's not actually. That's part of the Northern Corridor. Oh,
it's being done by government. Is it done by private person? Is that done by government? So
government is the worker.
Yeah, it's being constructed by the NRM government. You should acknowledge that.
Constructed by taxpayers.
Fine, but you're saying there's no one who should do the road other than taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
So the focus today is on KCCA. So use examples like Salama Road, the one just right behind you.
He will not tell you
Well, the road which passes just at my house, the Lukuli Road is one of the best roads in the country.
But the heavily populated one is Salama Road.
Salama Road
is terrible.
The Salama Road they do talk about. I know it's at procurement stage. Something like that. She will explain. All these have money around. So some part of the challenge is the procurement processes, but it's not that there's a total neglect. No, that's not true. Even the road under construction now, I remember the last time the ED was here, they were supposed to have started around February last year, but there were some delays. She can explain that. But not by the time you say I'm going to start the road in February, it means you have the money. There could be other issues that could causing the delays. And the other thing Semuju needed to, which he was misleading, is that saying even the roads which are being worked on are on loan basis, are not from the from the government money. See, whether we pay the loans from the taxpayers. So whether it is a loan, whether it's a direct money from government, it is the government working on that road. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether it's a loan or not a loan.
Thank you, Moses.
Because it's like, oh, if it wasn't a loan, you see why you procure a loan. Most of the roads, by the way, most of the roads in Uganda, we have worked on our through a loan, and not from government money directly. But then we are the same people paying about 7 trillion to pay loans. The loans are paying for what you have already consumed.
Thank you, Moses. We also have another short talk about those loans. And Semuju, just a tip for you. Every time Moses quotes a road far away, you just bring him back to Salama Road. I'll give you some pictures as well.
But also the Kira Road.
Because it is just behind him.
The Kiraka Road is not far away.
You're most welcome. Just...
You had asked me to make a point. So the ED, I will need to know why Kampala is like a mine. That roads.
You said you will just greet her.
He said he would not
now
ask
I have
anything.
Found it.
You have changed your mind.
Now I have found that roads must first break down, and we are like a mine, dust, and we are very happy now. Kasanga is being constructed.
You're most welcome to the show. Edie, Dorothy Kisaka, you're most welcome to the Capital Gang. Good morning and Happy New Year.
Thank you very much, Oscar, and Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to the gangsters and our listeners.
Yes, when we talked about this, you coming to the gang, you said, I hope we're not going to talk about potholes only. And I said, how?
What else was she going to talk about?
Oscar, can I ask the AD, was hardly caused by
potholes?
She has completed the story.
I think Moses Ofonopono Katesh, you are supposed to be fully behind the ED. So as she's
think that we are not affected by misgovernance in Kampala.
You think this is Christ the King choir?
Or Betty Kamya told them that for them they have big cars, they don't feel the potholes.
Yeah, but
remember,
we shall support her where necessary and where factual.
So so now you're on microphone. Let's get the elephant out of the way. Dorothy Kisaka, what's the state of potholes in Kampala?
Okay.
You know, previously I'd come from the bypass, then I go to like heading out to Gaza and then come Chanja Road. I've given up because it brings me to Mahanda Road. I've given up on that one, potholes. Now I come through Kampala Parents here on Chisasi roundabout, and they filled in a bit of mud in Kamwacha along there, so it was drivable today. So every time someone is planning a trip to Kampala, you have to really think about where you are going to pass.
GPS.
Well, I must assure you, Oscar, that we have begun a campaign to end those potholes and that story of continuous potholes. Why? Because government has come very strongly to support KCCA and deal with these issues comprehensively. If you go to Machinge right now, where we are working on about 10 roads, about 14 kilometers, you will drive all the way from the conference center, through Lukuli Road, right up to the city center, and you'll not meet a single pothole. But that does not mean that there are some places which are still having potholes. But we have begun a process, not just to cover, we are doing sectional repairs. For instance, there is a road called Seziwa Road which runs from Sheraton to Fairway. Yeah, instead of covering the potholes, we overhauled it in a very short time.
I know the president uses that road.
Yes, and those are some of the interventions now those are interventions we are going to make now, so that the story of potholes, we can put it behind us. And I just heard Honorable Semiju talking about Idi will just tell us stories. No, we have received the money. We have received the money, and we have received money for 2 major projects. There is a project which is called the Kampala City Roads Rehabilitation Project, which is going to cover almost 100 kilometers. Those people are on the roads. Salama Road is one of them. Industrial area is one of them. Sapolo Kagwa Road is one of them. I'm just mentioning the
These
very,
are
very
hot
top.
spots.
Yes. And we have received money, and we have started that work. That work has really started.
You know, we are recording these things.
I think some of the, like Salama Road, the procurement process has taken rather
Absolutely.
long. Yeah,
Absolutely.
by now it should have started.
Yeah.
So it's not that money came in yesterday.
Yeah.
Money has been there for over a year.
So why?
I don't know.
Go on, Idi.
Okay, maybe let me say this. Now that the contractor is ready, they're going to do forward maintenance even before they do the total reconstruction. But yes, the procurement delayed. We have things like design reviews, hiring consultants, getting consents from the bank, and all that. Those processes take time. And you can't skip them. You can't skip a process. So that is some of the delay that has caused those roads to be done. But the good news is that Salama Road, the potholes on Salama Road are going to be history. That road is going to be done.
There's Nigeria as well. Is it on the program?
Nigeria is Chira. It is Honorable Semuju's Road.
Yeah.
And it's under GKMA. GKMA is another project which is catering for the city roads, but also for the metropolitan area. Mpiji, Kira, Ntebe, Mokono are all part of that big project. And the goal, like you said, is so that when traffic leaves Kampala, again, it is not stuck in potholes just outside the city. So it's a comprehensive government approach to ensure that the city and the metropolitan area roads are well done.
People here will comment and so on.
Great.
But I know that one of your plans is promote the Kampala City brand. Does Kampala have a brand?
Yes, of course. There is nobody. There is no person.
Potholes.
There is no institution. There is no person. There is no institution which doesn't have a brand, or a city that doesn't have a brand. So Kampala has a brand, and what we are saying, we want to improve. What is the brand? The current brand
is pothole.
You tell me. You tell me, because the brand owner may not be able to say properly what they feel is their brand, but those who receive the service can articulate what is the brand. So for us, we intentionally are saying our city, one of the greater things about Kampala is that they're hospitable. We have great cuisine. We are people who work together. We want to promote collective responsibility. We want to beautify our city with the greening belts, with the planting of trees.
His microphone is not on. Continue.
Okay. The things that will cause Kampala to be talked about. And you know, a brand is built also internally. So we as a people, we want to promote, we want to guide, we want to create an awareness that let's speak well of our city. Yes.
You have noisy Simon Kasiate has been making noise about it. But just two more questions from me, and then we'll have a discussion on the table. People also asking questions. You have a dream about this traffic lights and so on. 27 junctions of traffic lights. Previously, you had the other dream of internet. That one has been rested. Now you have another one of traffic lights. Will this happen?
Absolutely. As I speak now, the traffic control center is under construction, and it's almost 60. I'm told over 60%. It's at City Hall, just next to my office. It is progressing well. It is going to help us in guiding traffic. And
is it going to use solar power or umeme that sometimes goes off?
It is going to use umeme. That is being run properly by my brother there. But we are under that program. We are going to have 27 roundabouts transformed into signalization. That's what they call it technically. So 27. So roundabouts like at Imperial Royal, Imperial Hotel, Grand Imperial, roundabouts on Kubiri, Mortuary, Mulago Road, 27 around the city. So are going to be removed. And one of the key things we are aiming at is how do we increase the traffic flow in the city. So we have the traffic control center. We are going to work with police.
Remove roundabout, put traffic lights.
Yes. Because the places that have the traffic lights, like Fairway, you will agree with me, the traffic really flows easily. Yes. So we want to improve that around the city. And
as I said, we're recording. So what time frame is this?
It has started. Their plan was to be finished in 18 months, and they are working very fast. Okay. So.
And so Ofonopono has been itching. Now if you leave the questioning to me. You've been itching, even made notes to support the ED of KCCA.
Well, partly to support, but also to play the devil's advocate. First of all, I think, Oscar, you haven't been fair to the ED.
Who can be fair to the ED? Really, who?
And also to the listeners.
Maybe to the listeners.
The way you have asked the questions. I thought the ED should have given us a snapshot of what KCCA status today is and her overall strategic program to revamp the city.
Maybe you have not been listening.
No, I've been listening. You have, yes, you have cherry picked, and consequently, this is my assessment. We have cheated the listeners. We have also cheated the ED. Yeah, but. I agree.
Start your comments on a negative like that.
Yeah. No. But when you invite me, you don't expect. You're not the one to tell me how to. No.
Yeah, Oscar, you're pushing the NRMs into corners.
Yes.
They've also realized.
First of all, a while back, maybe a month ago, the Lord Mayor of Kampala was on media, and he has been consistent on it. That Kampala, which he is running for the third term now, does not have a physical plan. That's what the mayor has said, or at least a modernized physical plan. So if that is the position of the Lord Mayor to the public, for me, I would want to know from the ED, is that accurate, that you don't have a physical plan for Kampala? And therefore, if you don't have a physical plan, how would you even do the roads and other infrastructure well? Yes. Or you are simply doing patchworks. Two, the ED says the delays on Salama Road and others, she has blamed the banks, the delay in releasing money, and so on. I think it comes from what the Lord Mayor had been saying, and that implies that project preparation, not just roads, project preparation, are not done well, not done meticulously, and so you go to look for the money when the project, we are not ready to implement the project.
Moses has
then she says
something.
That the contractor who is there is first of all going to do forward maintenance. Forward maintenance means that you are going to spend money. And you're saying you don't have the money. And then after doing forward maintenance, perhaps 6 months or 1 year down the road, you now come to overhaul what you have been doing. Isn't that wastage? Then she says, when we asked her, I chipped in and said, what is the brand that she and her team and we Kampalans should be promoting? And she says, the owner of the brand may not know it, articulate it well. So if the owner of the brand cannot articulate well, who else should articulate that brand well? And says, working together. Really? Do the people living in Kampala agree, or in Uganda, that the leadership in Kampala actually work together? I think that's a question mark. Cuisine, perhaps. Hospitable, when you have congestion and pollution.
Smart city.
And pollution, is that hospitable? So I have issues there with the ED.
Yes.
Now,
Can you give a follow-up?
yes.
No,
Now
we have many
yes.
people on the table, so I'm going to
Then
ask
I have issues
Katesh
with
for you
the.
to
I have
speak
the
with.
issues with the what the Honorable Semuji had submitted earlier. No, Honorable Semuji.
I'm going to
I
get
think-
Katesh to speak.
Yes,
like
I think the 3 times Honorable Semuji is spending in Parliament has not enabled him, or he's just not sincere with how the government of Uganda works. Even when it is World Bank money, World Bank money is supposed to be, and indeed fits in the budget of Uganda. There's nothing that World Bank comes here to do independent of the government of Uganda.
And he's on a budget.
Yeah, he's on budget committee. So I find insincerity in Honorable Semuji. He ought to know that no donor comes here with the money and does anything without the government of Uganda. And so, whether it is donor money or our own taxpayers' money, is all money of the Republic of Uganda, because in any case, eventually we pay the money, even if it was a loan, we pay the money. So all these projects are projects of the government of Uganda. There are areas that are certainly good. Because of the conferences going on in Munyonyo, I've been privileged to travel through the Makindye area. And you can see that area is not like the central business district. It is actually good. It is actually good. But the other things, I don't think we expect KCCA to do much on its own if the neighboring jurisdiction don't do their part. And so I think there is a lack of building synergy, working, coordinating projects with Mukono, with the Ruwero, with Wakiso, with Mpigi. Which goes back to, you remember when we were discussing the metropolitan plan, and opposition people here, the same Jews, the people of Mengo, they said, oh, now you want to take out Buganda, and so on. And that plan was defeated. I think we need...
No.
I think...
You need to
The
be
plan was
sincere.
defeated because of
The law establishing KCCA actually established a Greater Kampala Metropolitan Physical, and Muruli Mukasa did submit names to Museveni for approval for it to start. It never started. It's not Mengo.
No.
It is in the law.
No, but even before the approval of
Who
the
stopped
plan,
you from
even
starting
before the
it?
approval of that,
Okay.
you remember,
Conclude.
you remember there was obstruction. Obstruction. You remember the question of the public transport. Where should public transport go far when they come from Kampala? Should they go up past Mukono? Should they go past Mpigi, and so on and so forth? Things like those. So I think we need to go back and say KCCA can be the team leader, but the other neighboring jurisdiction ought to be brought together if we want to have a better Kampala.
Katesh,
I disagree.
perhaps ED will have a softer voice from you.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate the ED because recently she was in Guangzhou. She got an award on behalf of Kampala.
Is that a parish in Kampala?
In Guangzhou in China. But just for information, when the post went viral on some of our groups, people are wondering what exactly.
I can explain.
How did Kampala? How did Kampala win amidst all these potholes? And I think you need to be very clear because it went viral. I'm congratulating you because I also could not answer some of the questions on some of the groups.
Why have an award when we have industrial area?
But to start with, we are glad that at least there is money to do the roads. now. And just for my brother Semuju, World Bank, usually they do studies. There is a World Bank doing business report, which looks at the doing business on different parameters. I used to participate in it when in my previous role, and sometimes I disagree with their methods. But one of the parameters there is trading across borders, and they look at the entire logistical supply chain and how it affects business. And it's from such a report that then government, in line with the manifesto that Moses has talked about, then is able to do the loans that you are talking about. The World Bank cannot come here and say, I'm giving you money. It has to come from a government initiative. But yes, there are reports that could be. Now, so money is there. Now, what do we expect? Number one, ED. The public needs to know how long the roads you are going to do, the ones you are talking about, what is the durability? Because this sensible road you talked about, I think I've been in Kampala long enough to know that they worked on it not long ago. Yes, in one way or the other, whether it is repairing potholes or just a small surface, what we need to know is if you do Sezibwa Road, if you are doing a Salama Road, how long will it last?
3 years.
Okay. Number two, what is the average cost of doing a kilometer of road in Kampala? Because for us who are in budget, we are in a budget with Semuju here. Now he's been promoted to. You have declined. I saw you celebrating on TV. You've been promoted shadow minister.
We congratulated him on this show.
Yeah. My only advice is that he has to spend more time to read and less of sensationalism. But the average cost per kilometer will inform what do we need to cover the roads in Kampala.
Number three,
the issue of preparation. OO has talked about it. It is a problem across the board. When we acquire these loans, I think the Speaker of Parliament actually tasked the Committee on National Economy to undertake some kind of audit. When you get a loan and you are not ready to start, immediately it becomes a cost for us. We start paying. So we would like to see, as we acquire these loans, all these things around the design should be done long enough. And it's high time as government that we start using our own resources. We have human resources, people who have invested in UNRWA, in different ministries. How come that we still have to get so many consultants on some of even a small road that leads from here to there? How many roads or what category of roads do we need consultants? Even a Maram road, do we need a consultant? Maybe the ED can explain. Which roads do we need a consultant? Where do you need? Which one can we do internally?
Which ones need drainage and which ones not?
Finally, there was a letter which was going around from the African Development Bank about Kampala City Roads Rehabilitation Project. They noticed to suspend disbursement because of certain unfulfilled, I think, safeguards. And I think they were threatening to suspend effective February. So for us as users, of course, we would like to know from you, Madam Edi, what is the implication? If that is affected, what happens to what you have promised that money will be available? Okay. So for me, finally, Oscar, is from a business angle. Madam Edi, when these roads are being done, usually in many countries, you find that before the project has started, there is assurance of continuity. That the road being done does not mean that there must be increased congestion. You have to have alternatives where business flow, traffic flow must continue. So you are talking of industrial area, roads are going to be done. But industrial area is a hub of the business. There are manufacturers offloading their products. There are containers coming in with goods. What are the plans to make sure that as you do these roads, business continuity is assured and we don't have a problem?
You could also talk, when we had public transport, by then proposed by KCCA, I think, you people that were in your area, you are the ones that failed it.
No, we didn't. It's a long story, but there were two problems. Number one, the agreement that the person had was covering Kampala, and they could not be, they did not, the other territories around. We had a different administration. So you could not live here and go to Chira. Wakiso would be demanding their own toll, and I think the other administrations refused to accept the agreement. And
we actually say we must share the taxes. Kampala want to take everything and then unleash their buses on Kira. We say no, you can bring them, but we'll be sharing.
Yes, but you see, you did not look at the big picture, Because why
saying synergies, not
yes,
working
synergies.
Together.
Because why would you expect someone to leave Kampala, then when he reaches the Chira, he has to be, people must jump out, then he must have a different agreement. For me, I think it's
Let's
important.
go to Namfi then before we return to ED.
Oscar, synergies are all good if the people who are making these decisions and running the different organizations even have the capacity to comprehend the complexity of these synergies. And I think one of the biggest problems we have is the people at the helm of leadership, and I'm always telling Moses this, is they don't have the mental capacity or elasticity to comprehend even the basics of these synergies that you're talking about. So at the end of the day,
you have Dorothy Saka right next to you there.
Apart from Dorothy here. She's an exception to that. She got an award from Guangzhou. So it tells you, because Oscar, for me, the fact that what percentage of Kampala is dug up at this moment, in November and December, Gaba, Munyonyo, Kansanga was impassable. There were jams that were stretching 4 hours. Someone left Kansanga and reached Gaba, and it took them over 3 hours to get to their place. And in that same space, you get to a station, a point in the road, there's no diversion, there is no what, but this part has been cut off. And there is no sign that there is a diversion. Use this here. Exactly. Why do we do these things when we are in Mulago? Even in school, in primary schools, I'm sure at Taiba you have debates of prevention is better than cure. How did we get here? Why do we have to be in Mulago on life support before we stage an intervention? Because it becomes more expensive. It becomes inconvenient for everybody. Everyone knows you would rather, eat well, feed well, take your vitamins, and prevent being in ICU for a heart attack. And yet, again and again and again, we find ourselves back in the same place. You have to ask yourself, why? Because suddenly, it seems like suddenly, all roads from Kira, Gaba, Munyonyo, everywhere, Ndeje Zanta, were all bad, industrial area. And we have the president's son even going, and the president telling us his daughter took him to see some of the potholes. What madness is that? But it comes down to leadership. Because as we do these roads, KCCA should be planning for their maintenance. Should be planning for their how long are they going to last? Because usually actually these engineers know when a road expires, in quotes.
They actually all have
so you plan. And when you're doing the roads, why do you roll out all the work on the same day at the same time? Because someone is coming. It's akin to those people who have messy homes, and when a visitor is coming, that is when they try to clean up. No, you should be cleaning up so that when the visitor is coming, you're just dusting the pans. You're not doing major, massive cleaning, because the visitors are even finding us we haven't finished cleaning, and yet they are coming. So they're going to find that we hadn't. But even why do you prepare for the visitors? Why are they more priority than the people that you live with? Madam Edie here said the people who are in the city should tell us what our city brand is. No.
put it that way.
Yes.
You know, that's what you
Okay,
did.
you
but
give us a
revise
plan,
now.
you tell us the plan, you tell us your motto, your goals, and then we tell you this is, we know this is, if because it used to be smart city. And of course now no one can say Kampala is a smart city, because even as you drive anywhere, you're either falling in a pothole or you're filled with dust. And then one thing that I'm curious about, why in most countries you go to, when they are repairing roads, especially in a business district, they usually do it in the night. But here, the moment you retire to go and sleep, road repairers also retire to go and sleep. And then during the day, they
You've been
start
working
and
on
hold
the
up.
northern bypass at night, finally.
No, that is much later.
That is much later. In the beginning,
Okay,
even at
much.
rush hour, they would close after people complained. But that time during rush hour, people would be in traffic for hours and hours because they are repairing the roads. These roads, they should know the time, and then get all your resources, concentrate on one road, and make sure it is done within a month. And then you go, because Kampala Parents, which is a stretch of less than a kilometer,
She was here last time,
it's
she said
been
it's going to
done
be
since
fixed.
March last year.
Yeah.
Why? Why does it take how many,
Okay.
almost
1
a
kilometer.
year to do less than a kilometer of a road? Get your resources. Instead of doing Gaba, Munyonyo, let the people of Kampala Parents still grapple with the potholes, but finish Munyonyo, and then go to this, go to this. If you're stretching your resources, if you're not stretching your resources, then wake up, your supervisors, your KCCA engineers should be pushing these guys to finish the roads. You saw what Magufuli did in Tanzania. All these people used to do roads in 2 years, in 8 years. Did them in 2 years. He gave them timelines, and you don't stick to the timeline, you don't get a new contract. But we see people doing shoddy roads, which expire in less than the timeline they give us, and yet they get new contracts again and again. So
Okay.
I think those are the things we
Thank
should be
you,
looking at.
Nafi. Let's put 2 microphones back to ED Dorothy Kisaka. You had actually told me you want to talk about infrastructure improvements, roads, drainage, lighting, walkways, those traffic signaling, branding. So that one is under Kampala brand. Solid waste management, collective responsibility, and Honorable Semuju, I told her the problem with your office, those things you want to talk about, I don't think you will manage to talk about, because everyone is going to swamp you with roads and potholes. So is my prediction correct?
Well, no, you are not exactly correct, but first of all, I want to thank the gangsters for raising the issues so that we can talk about them. But I think let's contextualize this really, you people. We are all living in this Kampala. We all want good roads. We all know how the budget works. We get some money, we start doing the roads, everybody's up in arms. We have nowhere to pass. Which one should we do? The money has come.
Plan in advance.
Exactly, we've planned in advance, and the money has come as an avalanche, and all the roads are bad. And within a financial year, you need to do a particular thing. So we have complexities around the whole of the planning cycle, which we must deal with. It is stupid of me as an administrator to take back money because I want to focus on one road only. I take back money in a financial year. I must use it so that people benefit. First of all, we have a city focus, and it is to enhance the city's economic growth, so that people can prosper, so that the city prospers. That is our historical mission as leaders. Are we creating prosperity? Are we creating an environment that enables businesses to prosper and the people to thrive? And yes, so we are saying, what are the things that need for us to do that? One is infrastructure improvement. That is our roads, our drainages, our lighting, our walkways, the thing which make a person from the rural come to the city. They want to live in a city. They want to live in a city that you call a city. And infrastructure improvement is key. So if we have money in the bag, Let's use it. And we're appealing to citizens, to residents of Kampala. Please be patient with us. This is going to be a season that's going to end. But if I must do drainage, I'm going to create some inconvenience. We've done a drainage at Soyabonga. We've done a drainage at Otospa. People had built all over the drain, and whenever the rain comes, there's a great flood. So should I wait for conveniencing Kampala people, Tembatawanya, before I do the drainage? There's going to be some inconvenience created. Right now there is a drainage we are doing here on Komamboga. And about 10 homes, you can't access them. But there is no other way for us to do that except inconvenience. And that's why we are saying, let's work with the leaders in the local areas, in the parishes, in the villages. We are speaking the same language. Let's work with speed so our people are not inconvenienced. So that is something that I think we need to underline. But talking about, there are so many things to talk about. Let me go to this branding thing. We are saying we are building a smart city together. So when somebody says it's not a smart city, yes, it is not. But the goal is to build a smart city. As an administrator at the helm of the city, that's my goal. And what does smart city mean? It means there is infrastructure improvement, there is technology use, there is people well-being, a health city, and there is a wellness about being in this city. So that one we cannot go back on. We want to improve our cleaning collectively. How do people manage their solid waste in their homes? We want to green the city. We want people to paint. Right now we're on a drive of clean, green, paint and pave. Everybody taking care of their own household, house frontage or trading space frontage. And we want to bring other people on board in what we are doing. Institutions, businesses. This city is ours together. If the goal is to build a smart city, how do I, as a OO, participate in this actively? How do I, as a school child? Recently, we ran a program we called it the Smart City Ambassadors. We did secondary school children, and we ran a program for girls and for boys to sensitize them on these things like not throwing rubbish, keeping a hygienic city and environment. These things must be inculcated into the whole community. So the smart city is the goal, but the going there involves each and every one of us. So there is.
Yeah, go on.
Honorable Semuju, allow me to talk about the award.
Yeah. And then after that, waste management.
Kampala City received an award, Mwami Oscar. Honorable Katashumba, we received an award as Kampala City. It's not Chisaka who received the award. Kampala City. The question we should ask why. Why did we receive an award?
Yes, why?
We received an award to recognize the impact of the Weyonje app developed by KCCA to deal with solid waste management in slums. You know, slums have a word, they call them informal settlements in to make it sound nice. But this Weyonje app is a significant creation. It has created 15,000 jobs. It has eased the way we collect solid waste from the communities. Septic tanks are emptied fast. Latrines which used to fill and people would just empty into drainages, now that is minimized from where it was at 80% to about 20% now. We have people who have taken this on a business of emptying the septic tanks and enabling communities to be cleaner instead of our drainage. We used to have cholera outbreaks, if you remember. But since this Weyonje app started catching momentum, those things have gone down. So in Guangzhou, China, they were recognizing Kampala city for this Weyonje app. People are benchmarking on the Weyonje app. You can laugh, you can ridicule, but this is a big thing that our team have come up, and it's helping in cleaning the city. So ladies and Ugandans who don't live in informal sectors don't know anything about it.
Correct.
Ugandans who live in high-rise buildings, who live in Kololo, Ugandans who have their greens, Ugandans who don't have latrines in their home, you don't know anything about this. We have a group of people who live in environments where there are no toilets, where there is no flowing water. Those people celebrate this, and this award is for them if it is not for anybody else.
So this Edie Dorothy Saka, just hold on. We stop for a quick break and then you'll conclude.
The Capital Gang on 91.3 Capital FM.
This is the Capital Gang. Welcome back from the break. I'm not sure the ED has had a good break. I'm not sure she has had a good break.
It is not complaining.
But
expert in lying. So Chisaka is not. She needs coaching in that area.
So Edie Dorothy Saka, in conclusion, especially as I said, focus on waste management, not just Weyonje, because waste management is a problem.
Okay, thank you. Solid waste management is a big challenge for the city, and we need to manage it. And we need to come up, we are saying we must do a comprehensive resolution, not a patchwork. And what is that comprehensive resolution? Waste to energy. We must convert our waste to energy. And I'm very pleased to...
That's what you are doing, not what
I was going to tell you. December, we signed an MOU with an investor who is going to begin the waste to energy project. So that is a big thing. We have been guided by government, and they're funding it themselves, and that is going to take off. That is one of the key things. But
so you think people in Chitezi will also be happy?
In Chitezi, what we are doing, we are going to decommission Chitezi. Yes, it has to go. It has to go. It's unhealthy, and it cannot continue. We cannot continue having Chitezi as it is. We've started the process. They're working concurrently. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So in conclusion,
but in conclusion on solid waste.
On Kampala and Vision 2024.
I can't finish. Conclude Kampala. There are so many things that we want. This I must say. Maybe on solid waste management, I can add that we are also doing about 22 toilets, new toilets, which are going to be commissioned this year. Yes, that will be ready in about 2 weeks. I want to really...
Go on. Huh? You want to really... You want to
but
really...
if you're moving from 7 and you're going to 22, you've moved. You know...
Semuju is not on the microphone.
No.
Because
you say, Honorable Semuju, you live in an air-conditioned parliament. You drive an air-conditioned car, but there are people who walk these streets and need to hear that there are toilets in the city.
Please, continue. You are saying you really need to say something.
I need to say this. In this year, we want to promote collective responsibility.
What does that mean?
Okay, what do I mean? We want to yoke with stakeholders in the city. The city is ours together. The budget from government is available. But what can you do for your city as a capital gang? There are things for instance, this you see the roundabout at Munyonyo. It is being done by Airtel. We have 99 parishes who have just received PDM money with very low financial literacy. Standard Chartered has come and said we are going to train all your beneficiaries on financial literacy at our cost. That is a big thing. We have UNDP. They've come and they said we are going to light up your markets. We have private sector foundation. They've given us 1 million trees to plant around the city. And we want to invite more people to come on board. Ham Chigondo recently gave us 100,000 royal palms to plant around the city.
Did he pay his debts first?
So,
okay, let me first finish my point.
Yes.
What I'm saying, Oscar, we can do different things. Government can do, but we all can do. And that is what becomes a smart city ambassador. We are building the city together. We are encouraging different people to take on different things. And through this year, you'll be hearing us a lot more on this. We want to promote that. And we want, finally, on this one, we want to work with local leaders. Uganda, Kampala City. Do you know Kampala City, Honorable Semijo, has over 1,500 leaders on the payroll? 1,500 leaders. We have local LC1 leaders, over 800. We have parish chiefs. We have RDCs. We have mayors. We have 469 councillors. All these are on the payroll of government. That whole army of leadership is the collective responsibility I'm working with. If there is a sewage burst in a particular area, I have an LC1 village leader, I have a parish leader in that place, I have a councillor on the payroll of government. Really, ED sitting at City Hall cannot see every sewage. So we want to promote this collective coming together as leaders of the city so that we can build a smart city together. It's a collective responsibility.
That's a good note to end. Thank you so much. ED, KCCA.
Oscar.
Yes.
Oscar, just one. ED talks about planting trees.
The questions are
Just a minute. ED talks about planting trees. I have noticed that you are removing pavers and planting royal palm. We did this in Chogam and so on. Is there a plan for maintenance on by KCCA or by the individuals?
There are so many questions and so on. What I can promise is we shall invite you back regularly. Whenever you have a timeline, maybe just a quick one to finish with. Yes, go on.
Oscar, people are really concerned about roads, and I would cheat them if I didn't talk about roads. In the next 36 months, 36 months, because it takes time to do a road. There are some roads which we are doing total reconstruction. These are the expensive roads. These are the roads that are being done by contractors that you go through this whole procuring process, design reviews, consultants here, which are a requirement of the funding bank. Over 100 kilometers in the city, are going to be new, brand new. Okay, you just hold on.
You think you will pull out?
No, I can give you perspective. The Kampala city has 2,100 kilometers, and currently about 32% of that is paved. So if we increase another 100 kilometers, we've really moved. Of course, it's still, there is a big gap, and that's the reason, the dust. Because there are many roads which are not paved. It's a fact.
Yeah.
There are so many roads which are not paved. So even if you pave some roads, some are not paved. One of the areas that is really paved is this way, Chanja, Chisasi, If you take an aerial view, you see the roads and they look like they're maram.
Actually to pave them by
They look like they are maram because of the other roads which are not paved. So that is, but 100 kilometers is coming to us, Kampala City.
months.
And under the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area project, we are doing a 52 kilometers. That's huge.
Maybe in Nigeria.
You can
That
see.
Nigeria is in Kira, so.
I want to thank you so much for braving the first gang.
Yeah,
over
but
here.
let me finalize on that, Oscar.
Okay.
Under government of Uganda, the maintenance, the continuous maintenance we are doing right now, 14 kilometers in Makindye area, and it's not because visitors are coming. No, it's not. These things were already on our plan, but the money came in. The money came in at the time NAM summit was the priority, so we focused on that.
The president told us he was going to have roads for the summit. So there is no way to convince us that we didn't do this because this.
Thank you so much, Edi, Kampala City Council Authority. Thank you for appearing on Gang. You have given Moses Biaruhanga a good break because he really should answer some of the things that Semuju is talking about, as Semuju submitted at the beginning. So over to you, Katesh. You attended NAM. Sorry, you attended the speakers conference. I beg your pardon. Well, he will also attend now. But what are the takeaways? What? Give us an update.
First,
Katuntu is not here, so
Yeah.
you could give us the update.
Yeah, first of all, I think it's been a very successful conference. I've been in charge of protocol arrangements, working with my chair, Honorable Katuntu. And
Nanfi, you make a note of your things.
I thought, Nanfi, this is
the new year 2024.
At the point, yeah.
Okay, so we have an organizing committee entirely by Parliament and a few agencies whom we have co-opted. So we've been working together to make it successful. And our chair is Honorable Katuntu, and we have different responsibilities. The speakers. I think right from the time they arrived and the discussions that they have had, I think fairly it's been a very successful conference. But beyond even the conference, we have seen some of the speakers get interested in visiting certain areas. Yesterday we had some of the African speakers, most of them visiting the quality chemicals, to as part of ways we can also interest African countries to buy some of our key products like what is produced in quality chemicals. We've seen a number of speakers go out for delegations, go out for excursions. So it's been a conference where discussions have been made about major issues concerning parliaments, and the President, His Excellency the President, gave us a lot of time. He attended the opening ceremony and the luncheon, and he gave a very, very, very important address. I interacted with about 3 speakers who said that it was a learning, experience for them. They were taking notes because I think, and that message, you were not there. Just keep quiet. Yes, but you didn't get the speakers. I'm talking about the ones whom we had.
Don't be distracted, Katesh.
Yes. So today some of the delegations are leaving. The others will be leaving tomorrow. I think.
What have we gained from it?
Well,
what is the part Ugandans are more interested in?
And
why did we need billboards of them?
Nafi, hold on.
Nafi,
let him finish, and then you are going to have your time to speak.
So he commissioned these billboards.
Nafi,
go on.
Let me just give you one example. For your information, you are a farmer. If Uganda hosts 1 million visitors a night,
not possible. Because in a year we host 1.8.
If this country has an opportunity to host 1 million visitors a day, it means the morning breakfast, you can actually have 2 million eggs sold. And that goes directly to the impact. So for me, as a country, the major thing we should be looking at how do we actually attract as many conferences as possible, because there are countries in the neighborhood here who have actually mapped out the whole year, and they go for every opportunity to make sure that literally every month they have 1 or 2, 3 conferences. And that is promoting tourism, increasing the profile of the country. Remember, this is at the backdrop of recent advisories, ridiculous advisories about Uganda, and some of the people who didn't come, using that as an excuse. But we've hosted people here, as far as speakers from Tonga, from Singapore, Malaysia. So for me, anything that promotes a country, that raises the profile of a country, we should be able to welcome it. And when I see my colleagues saying, well, what have we gained? Tourism is a multiplier effect.
It is a good one. So were there any resolutions? Were there any resolutions made finally from you, Katesh?
We are waiting for the final, rapporteur's report, and I think that I cannot speculate what is in the resolutions.
Oh, it didn't end yesterday.
Today morning, I think there was something that's
the conclusion.
Yeah, some conclusions.
Okay, Namfi, Iching?
Namfi has wrong figures. He's going to quote wrong statistics.
I don't even care about the figures and who came and when how they came. You see, you could go on and on about tourism. If you told us that we are organizing a speakers conference in order to attract tourists, or for my cassava in Zirowe to have a market, then maybe we would be more prepared than that. But what we saw are billboards and this madness.
Or maybe some things should be obvious, maybe.
Like, are they?
Like if you have 1,000 visitors, then of course there will be benefits for all.
No, you see, we have to do a cost-benefit analysis. These benefits that they happen about, what is the benefit when someone is going to come to Uganda, and during the time that they arrive in Uganda, there is a prominent person who is saying that he has been shot.
Now you are mixing.
No, I'm not mixing. I'm telling you that if you're happy on about tourism, there is a better way of doing it. And let's also do a cost-benefit analysis. What was the benefit of speakers putting up billboards? That is money. Taxpayers' money. We are asking you what were the recommendations and what you discussed. You can't even articulate it. You're telling us it's good for tourism. Everything is good for tourism. But the best thing for tourism is a country that has a good reputation. You can't keep bringing people. 1,000 people may come. But if when they are here, they're falling in every single pothole that they are passing, none of them is going to come back or recommend anyone to come back. So no, let's not gloss over things and useless things and paint them and try to put uses to them. That conference was useless.
Honorable Semuju? Yes.
How do we benefit us?
First of all,
you have made the point. You've made the point.
You see,
your point.
Who has annoyed you this morning?
Yeah, go on.
All these meetings are important.
Did not go down.
We may not realize the full benefit because of the way we organize them, because of the way we but they are all they're all beneficial, and I want more to come. Unfortunately, the city of Chisaka, you will bring people, guests like they did, and then like you saw the Irish ambassador who said that potholes are now attracting tourists. He was just being funny. we
tongue in cheek.
Yes. So I have told this story of Moses Biarahanga to every audience. I was with him on a KRM flight, and all the attendants said, I will go for my Christmas in Kilimanjaro. Poor Biarahanga started pleading. We have better this in Uganda, we have better this, yeah. And then they said, no.
Gorillas.
We usually sleep in Entebbe. But one time the hotels were full, we wanted to go to Kampala. Your roads, animals are crossing, all the people are there. And you see, if Biarahanga meant well, he should have taken notes to come and speak to all other government agencies. You may have visitors, because you see, attending a meeting of the speakers is routine. They will go to any other country. But how you present yourself, that's why the other he said, you will need to wash your face before you go to receive guests. You can't have a city in a state like the one of Chisaka today, and you host 3 meetings because these visitors may not come back easily. What they take away? No, these days.
Yes, go on.
So and then the key discussions in these meetings was democracy. How does Parliament help the process of democracy in this country? And of course, Katesh sees only tourism. But this meeting wasn't about tourism. It was about democracy, all the themes. How does Parliament help democratize the country? And then the one who is going to give a very good speech, he has been in power for 40 years. Exactly. Maybe he should have been given a tag to attend the meeting to run instead of giving a speech. So really, everything that can go wrong for a meeting went wrong.
Okay.
That you have brought speakers to speak about democracy and how parliaments can help a country to be democratic. And then the monument of that country is a 40-year dictator. Yeah, and is the one speaking, and Katesh says, oh, they went very happy that he gave a very good speech. There's nothing to learn from someone who has been in power forever.
Okay.
So the parliament hasn't.
Thank you. Navi, you have already spoken. So let me cross over to some positives. I'll start with Mr. Fred Magezi Kirinju of State House. You start with a positive communication on how we have benefited from the Speaker's Conference. He's a communications officer, State House.
I am actually happy there. All vehicles are parked in Kolo. We don't need all these vehicles for government people.
Thank you, Mr. Oscar. Good morning, the gangsters. Happy New Year. Good morning, the listeners. And Happy New Year 2024. Straight away, let me start with the positives, especially on tourism. First of all, tourism is an industry that survives on, perception, how you present yourself. Recently, Magezi Chirinju.
Communication officer. This thing is you don't listen. Let him present.
So I'm still around you.
Yeah.
So we have had a challenge with the industry, starting with COVID, and then when we are recovering from COVID, then we got ADF killing students, then killing tourists. So the image was really having an issue. But the coming of this, first of all, the Speakers Conference, now I'm coming in, and then G77, already that means a vote of confidence. Because you see, many times when bad news breaks, and of course, like for the tourists, it was covered in Uganda, it was covered internationally, and amazingly, some of these countries like US and the UK also, when a story comes to them, for them their perception of it is totally different. They could think the whole of our country is at war. But when you have international conferences coming in, like the Speakers' Conference just ended, and then this coming too, it gives the country, that break, that perception break, that no, look, things are not as we thought they are. So that was the first benefit. Of course, the second benefit is whoever has business that these visitors had to use is smiling all the way to the bank and probably opening a new account because more are coming. So if you do not have anything you are selling, you cannot say the market is not working. Okay, maybe you can say the market is not working since you are selling nothing there. But ideally, if you have what to sell to these visitors, you must be one of the happiest people. Then two, these products we use, we are not importing matoke for these visitors. Importing meat, where it is supplied by Ugandans. So Ugandans are the supply chain, the suppliers of hotels are benefiting. Then also, of course, the owners of accommodation, places, the hotels, these ones are making a killing. I'm sure you may not get to sleep in Entebbe, you may not get to sleep in Gaba. Then also, of course, transporters. Most of the guests are being transported by government, but there are all the others who are also opting for private travel arrangements. Those Ugandans who own travel to travel companies are also benefiting. So the multiplier effect is really is big, and it is. Secondly, the Uganda Tourism Board vision for Uganda is to be the biggest destination for MICE. That is meetings and incentives and events. And these three meetings in Uganda, these two conferences in Uganda, are playing into that very vision that you needed a convention center. We have one. Now, the more the more conferences we get, it means that even at private level, if you have a hotel that has been stuck at 3-star, you start realizing when the conferences came, visitors spilled over to you, and they barely stayed just because the place was full. So you'd be like, let me try and also upgrade to 5-star, whereby I'm no longer the last option, I'm among the first options. So the benefits, apart from the political ones, really for tourism, it is a good thing.
Okay. More positives on the benefits of a speakers conference.
I will speak about the three conferences so that, because we don't have much time, these meetings, like everybody ought to really know, is that they give us country profile mileage, especially in a world where terrorism and other threats scare away people. Secondly, when there is aggressive competition to attract visitors and investors, so they help us build our...
Kenya has been getting a large share.
Country profile. And all these negatives notwithstanding, the records show that Uganda is attracting more investors. This last year ending, this year that has ended, Uganda outperformed the region, the countries in the EAC. Out of 13.7 billion US dollars of FDI, Uganda took the lion's share at 10.2. Kenya, which used to be, took just 1.0. Tanzania 1.03. 1.3. So
these are 2023 statistics.
Yes. So that's in FDI. Our own tourism numbers, Honorable Semuja has just talked about our, just in Tiba alone. We now have 1.8 million people annually coming into Uganda. 4-5 years ago, we had like 800. And even when we may complain about dilapidated, pothole things, infrastructure, but these help us build infrastructure, even when we do for visitors. But fortunately, these are not, yes, the visitors coincide with it. Now, the Commonwealth speakers, we have 54 countries that were invited. 72. No, 54 for the speakers. Now, the ones that turned up out of 54 have been 33 speakers. Just give an average that every speaker comes here with 5 people entries.
I think about others sent delegation.
Yes, other sent delegations.
So everybody was
now,
every country.
Those are additional mouths to feed, and therefore they spend in our country.
5, 10.
And I want to believe some of them may make a decision to come back and visit for longer. Some of them, like many of them, are business people. Probably they are citing business deals that may bring them back. And that's a good thing.
You know, we also took 600 to a conference somewhere, another 200.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. But
I'm saying
about
the effect of people traveling.
People traveling. Now, that is, we are going to have in the first month of the year, we have had the speakers, we are going to have 3 back-to-back meetings. From 15th to 20th, we are going to have non-aligned movement of 120 countries. We are going to have here a summit of presidents. All 120 countries of NAM have been invited. By yesterday, 97 had confirmed coming. 25 presidents, 10 vice presidents and prime ministers. You can imagine if you have 25 presidents here, even if they just come for a day and they go back, what does it mean? Again, country profile and other things. We are going to have a discussion about issues that affect members of these 120, majority of them, what we call third world countries. What does that mean? That probably we shall build convergence on issues of investment, issues of trade, issues of political integration of the blocks. One of the things that is affecting us as these countries, we have been exporting raw materials. And you know, in the last 5 years, these countries are saying, no, we would rather have companies of those rich countries investing in our countries to process our raw materials so that we keep jobs here, we transfer technology, we transfer skills, we transfer entrepreneurial skills. I think those are good things.
Okay.
As we conclude NAM,
Speakers,
we are going to have the G77, group of 77 plus China, 135 countries.
When is
So,
that?
20th to 22nd.
Okay.
So, yeah, the January, just next week. January, just next week. I'm a member of the National Organizing Committee. So I'm speaking from a relatively well-informed. So when you have all those people here from 15th to 22nd or 23rd, that's a lot of things that Uganda is attracting. So it is now up to the Ugandans. Even when we complain about the Commonwealth, that some people may say we didn't get much, but that Commonwealth of 2007 helped us. Now we have one convention center. Previously, we only had Sheraton and Serena, which could accommodate presidents and vice president. Today, believe you me, actually more than 3/4 of the presidents have chosen to stay only in Munyonyo. Meaning that we have alternatives. We have alternatives. There are those that not just security, convenience. So it is just up to Ugandans now to say there are opportunities coming our way. How do we build more to give people confidence in? Like Atashuba said, there were 7 negative advisories in 2022 about terrorism, about the Anti-Homosexual Act, about governance issues, democracy,
a little bit of Ebola.
About that, about Ebola and so on and so forth. But in spite of those negative advisories by the United States, by Britain, biggest countries in the world, at least in the international diplomatic world, you can see that 25 presidents and 10 vice presidents have still made a decision to come.
Thank you.
Now,
we're going to pause for
I
a
just
break.
want to give just elements of this. If you have the president of, if you're talking about geopolitics, global politics, and you have the president of Cuba, you have the president of Venezuela, you have the president of Iran, you're having the president, this single Palestine. You know that South Africa has taken Israel to the ICC, and have the president of South Africa coming. What more global attention do you need? We are going to have a discussion and a position on Palestine. Can you imagine the attention we are going to have, that Uganda is the one going to have a discussion on the current conflict in the Middle East and Palestine. So it is no.
Thank you.
It is up to us
to present the way you want. After the break,
to make good of these meetings.
Let's have Moses after the break. For him, he usually has statistics and so on.
The Capital Gang on 91.3 Capital FM.
Back to the gang, short break. Moses, your time to inject the positive.
Well,
Someone tap over his shoulder.
As I want to agree entirely with the Ofono Pondo.
And Semuju?
Semuju didn't say anything.
Semuju said the conferences are good to have.
Yeah, so he doesn't
Okay,
agree with me.
on that one, yes, but the other ones I was just not mind. I didn't listen to Semuju much because he was talking about democracy, what.
Other things, boy.
You see,
It was the theme of the speakers' meeting.
yes, but it's democracy. See, democracy is not an event. Democracy is a process, as you know it. Even in countries like America, until 1962, women were not voting. Until even up to date, you hear that people at work, you find a lady doesn't get the same amount of money like the man, where they're doing the same job with same qualifications. It's a process which keeps on improving, and there's nothing wrong with the speakers of Commonwealth sitting in a country some you might think is undemocratic to say, how can your country be democratic? So what's wrong with that in the first place? So, but to say that President Museveni has been in power for 40 years, has been in power for 40 years under a democratic system of election, where you have had a candidate and lost many times, 4 times. So please, so there's that's democracy. Your message has stood 4 times and lost.
Now that you have gotten that out of the way.
And for you have stood 3 times and won as an MP, and it is not democracy, and you are in the parliament. Surely. Anyway.
Now that you've gotten that out of the way, back to Speaker's Conference.
Back to the conference. The conference, as I said, I agree entirely with what Opono has said. It's good for Uganda. People who didn't know about Uganda, you have all these international media focusing on Uganda. Those who have had the negatives, now they are seeing the positives. If someone say, but if the speaker, for instance, I think didn't the speaker of the House of Commons come? But when people see this, the leaders coming.
Have you seen the country they are
Go on. I only have your microphone on, Moses.
So when they see the Uganda being in this limelight and the negative, the international negatives reduce because people are seeing some positives about your country. Of course, Katesh talks about the amount of money coming in. So much, I'm sure Uganda must have gotten more. You can imagine, I'm sure the rooms the speakers were speaking in, they were not paying less than $500 a night. And if you look at that money coming into Uganda, many times you have been telling you about the strengths of the Ugandan shilling against the international currencies like the dollar, the British pound, the euro. When we host such a conference, these people come with dollars or euros, and they exchange. They are paying in those currencies. So the Uganda is benefiting. The foreign reserves at the Bank of Uganda should be smiling that people have come in and brought in money. Apart from what others have said, the food the people are eating in the hotels and so forth. But also now we have a bigger one, as the phone was saying, the non-aligned movement and the G77 plus China. Here you will have hundreds of delegations. If you hear 120 countries coming, and each one is not about 10 people, that's over 1,000 people coming into your country, and all the rooms are going to be booked. In fact, I don't know whether Uganda, we should have kind of a holiday so that to allow free flow of traffic during that time. Otherwise, all the hotels will be booked in Uganda. That's good. If you're in Kampala, that's good for our tourism. That's good for the country. I'm looking at the financial inflow of the money coming in here in the country. You have had most of our neighbors, the depreciation of their currencies against the dollar is so high. Uganda has been stable, and this coming in of these funds is going to further stabilize the Ugandan shilling against the dollar. And for the business community, this is coming in at a time. Normally, December and January we have what we call the summer coming in. If you notice, I'm sure Katesh has been in these issues, knows it better. The shilling comes down, falls in the price. That means the dollar falls in the price. And for people who are interested in or are doing business, it's a time to buy dollars because the dollars are coming low. And around March, the price will maybe go up by about 200 shillings. So people make money in such situations. Somebody goes out, has Ugandan shillings, buys dollars, keeps them for this period. I'm sure Namfi is listening carefully. Namfi, go on. Namfi, you make money.
Moses, go on.
Namfi is listening.
Just only have your microphone.
Namfi is listening again carefully. She will buy some dollars, and around March she will sell them because the dollars in this period, the price is down, and it's the best time to buy dollars. So to me, the country is benefiting both on tourism, both on financial foreign currency inflows against outflows, and the exposure Uganda is getting to people coming back. I'm sure some of these speakers will find time to come back to Uganda after having seen it.
Honorable, yes.
You know, I was around when Chogam was being planned to come to Uganda. Before then, I remember the best hotel we had in Uganda was a hotel in Entebbe, where the former president of the US state, Bill Clinton.
Lake Vic.
Not Lake, Botanical something. We only had one presidential suite of that, apart from Sheraton. But because of Chogam, the government came up with policies. I remember we had a lot of exemptions that were extended, and that gave rise to all these hotels that you see. Right now, when you see the new hotels coming up, Marriott crossing in Zambia, this one here, it is a demonstration that actually
Hi there, this is Sunny Business.
the people have faith in this country. We will not be having new hotels being built when you know that there will be no return on investment. So for me, the big thing is how do we actually get as more and more conferences to come in this country month by month, so that the multiplier effect is much bigger than people might think.
Semujo, as we finish off this topic, how can we improve? We have, I don't know if your car is also impounded here in Kololo or Kateshes or Moses.
I think for me,
also, how can you make sure that for the next conferences, you have people like Nkunyinji registered early enough? CBMK, our listener Gift is asking, can they register them early so that you don't have that kind of rancor refusing an MP to go in? Remember in the old days when the road mayor is complaining, you have a road mayor's conference and he has not been registered to go. How do we avoid such?
Oscar, I still do support the revamping of Uganda Airlines. Not because I thought that the money realized from sale of tickets was going to be the benefit. The trouble with many of the government spokesperson is to go for the simple things. That you are going to say the eggs. You're going to say the eggs, matoke. If I am your boss, I will sack you. If I hear on the radio you say that. Because the benefit from, I'll give you an example, Oscar.
You are talking
when I was still active in the media, we used to have the African Forum for Editors, African Editors Forum. One time, it was our turn for Uganda to host. And then all the delegates said, no, the flying to Uganda is very difficult. At least we'll come to Nairobi again, because each one of us will be able to fly direct to Nairobi, because there are KQ flights from many African countries. So the benefit that you get from Uganda Airline is not the sale of tickets. And I saw my colleagues in Parliament making a mistake. So the benefit from these meetings, please, it is not the sale of eggs. It is not the sale of matoke. All of you, for upon you in charge of publicity, I will get you and then I'll beat you if that's what you go to say on radio. And that's why I'm very angry when the serious thing that you are supposed to do from which the country will benefit are not done. Because tourism will benefit, but can only benefit if you have sorted out the basic things. The town looks good. I told you, Oscar, last time we were in Kigali. I don't know if Kateshe
was there.
Yeah. All the MPs appreciate that this town now looks very beautiful. It is clean. The roads are done. All of them, including NRM MPs who are critical of Kigali because of other reasons. There is a reason for me to take my family to Kigali, because they're going to a good, clean city. Other issues,
notwithstanding.
Notwithstanding. And that's why I wanted to tell Chisaka here. You see, you don't develop a city just on the goodwill of those who are in the city. You must have a very strong enforcing mechanism.
Which Chisaka tell Moses.
Yeah. You must have a very strong enforcement mechanism for the state to stake, at least at the beginning. Okay. So the campaign that they're involved in, please, this is your city.
Thank you.
We are pleading with everybody. So these meetings are beneficial, provided the country that you want to sell to the outside world is sorted, it looks good, and then finally Oscar. Ufano Pondo, the other day I saw you, either you or Baliomus, who wanted to school your prime minister when they were quarreling after a meeting with the Kasuri woman and others in communication. You need to begin schooling government people, starting with the head of state. You cannot be quarreling over travel advisory, and the head of state is in the media advertising that his wife has COVID. So you are inviting people to come to Uganda, but in the media they are saying, no, where you are coming, there is too much COVID, even my wife has. So please take the president for some lessons. If they have nothing to say, let them continue talking about the wrong horns of Ankole.
No, he's there, Magezi. Mr.
Yeah,
Magezi.
so it is their duty. So
he's the communication person, he wrote it.
No, this is too junior, I'm talking about Ofono Pondo. So you are inviting the world to come to your city. You are saying, here there is COVID, even my wife has. And
Mr. Magezi, conclude on this one. Are you the one that advised the president to announce the...
Not my boss is here, so that will sort it. But let me remind the Honorable Semuju that cuisine is part of a tourism component. Many people can go to Paris to wine and come back. Secondly, you imagine if I visited you and your home was clean and posh and I came back hungry. I think I would I won't remember that your house was even clean at all.
Don't worry about the rest. You conclude on the benefits.
Already we have a name and I think a speaker. I don't know from which country. He's coming back with the family as already promised. So the benefits are beginning to speak for themselves for sure. So we apart from the ones we had spoken about already. The numbers, of course, would increase. Then also there was also cultural exchanges in these meetings. There was in this one. There is going to be in the coming ones, and and even businesses. Because if we may be speaking in these ad hoc meetings, and I realize that I could come back and invest with the Ugandan. You get it? If that's what somebody wants. If let's leave Matoke, which he was complaining about, but still. As at small level, is small Ugandans. If I have my goats, have sold goats. If I have my matoke, they have taken it to this conference, and they are still taking more. So you cannot discount these. And these are all monetary. I may say matoke, but I'm basically saying I sold it. I have cash in my pocket. I don't have the matoke itself.
Moses, just before you're going to speak last and first on the next one. So Moses just wanted to add in this one.
I think about 3 times talked about the president's message about COVID when the first lady had COVID, and she's now tested negative. First of all, the president has been open about COVID. Even when he had COVID, he mentioned it to the public. It's nothing. There's no secret about it. COVID is now no longer a pandemic. It's a disease like any other, and to be open about such a thing and also tell people that you still need to take measures about COVID. It couldn't stop anybody to come to Uganda because the first lady in Uganda has COVID. It couldn't stop anyone, and thanks to God, she's now free of COVID. Many people, other Ugandans, could be having COVID, but the coming to open about it does not discourage tourists to come to Uganda. In fact, it shows that this country, which can be that open, is good to go to because they take measures to ensure that their people are safe.
Thank you.
People go and praise, they are praising Rwanda and so forth on tourism. Yes, we need a clean city, fine. But I can assure Semuju and others that Uganda's earning from tourism are much higher than what Rwanda is earning from tourism.
Yes, but they're trying to catch up. That's the point he's making.
Yes.
Yeah.
You say
government official spokesman. I only have your microphone on.
I'm surprised that Honorable Semuju, a journalist, would want that the president hides. First of all, there is in communication, public relations, factual communication. Let us look at COVID. Semuju has issues with Boris Johnson. That did not announced. That did not prevent people from traveling. No. Yes, Donald Trump. I don't remember people going for UN General Assembly because Donald Trump or Joe Biden had announced that they had COVID. And at the height of the pandemic. Now, Honorable Semuju has issues of eggs and matoke. Majority of Ugandans earn from the small sales. What would be wrong if they sell more eggs, more matoke, more sweet potatoes, more milk? Semuju, I would invite you. There is an article, I think, in the Atlantic about chicken feet war between China and the US. Chicken feet. Chicken feet is a big business. So we should make sure, we should help, we should try to strive that Uganda should be able to get money from anything that we can sell. Even if we can sell cow dung. Kisaka was, I thought that Kisaka was going to say that we want to turn all human waste. I know Oscar usually caution us human waste into biogas, so that people of Kampala, instead of using charcoal, they use biogas from the feces from their pit latrines.
You had stopped with human waste.
Yes. No. I'm saying so we should be able to. So, Mr. Honorable Semuju is a good.
So, Ofono, your government spokesman. Yes. This we closed it. Namfi is banning to talk about Pastor Bujingo. She's banning. What can you tell us as a government position?
No. First of all, instances of shooting, which could be criminal, somebody looking for money from you, or settling scores, or even politically related, have been frequent, isolated but frequent in Uganda. We have had 12 skill, we have had a minister shot by bodyguard, we had the case of Jeno Katumba. So these are
also major. Then there was the policeman as well.
So these are some of those isolated, high-profile criminal incidences that are under investigation, so that hopefully eventually we should be able, if not to get what are the causes, why are these people being targeted, at least we should be able to expeditiously catch the suspect and try them. Hopefully again we secure conviction in courts of law. So the case of Pastor Bujingo falls in that category. Police is investigating. As far as I know, they have not yet found either the suspects or the guys that are involved. But it is factual that he was targeted, and the person who was in his car was shot dead. So we don't have to hide that. I mean, it would be futile to try and hide it because visitors are coming. But this is part of the criminal incidences in Kampala. We may not prevent a mobile money person being shot in Nansana or wherever, and that certainly the media will cover. So it will be investigated, hopefully, fully, so that there
will be a prosecution and so on. Honorable Semuju.
First of all, I am sympathetic to the pastor.
If he was
of course, his car was shot at.
Was it?
Yes.
Namfi, we don't have that kind of. You prepare your notes and you speak.
So the trouble in Uganda is that even where we should be sympathetic, people are not. I saw when Jeno Katumba Mara had problems, there are people who are dramatizing it. The man had just survived the death.
Lost a person as well.
Yeah, not one. Two. Yeah.
He's the driver and
when the minister was shot, I saw people dramatizing. There is a big problem in this country, and Ofono, you are responsible for it. You and your government. You are the ones who have brought us where we are. Because when people die,
man was put as a target to get people to talk to each other.
We should sympathize with them. The circumstances and what happens, people may legitimately have questions to ask. I also because they say the pastor with the body after the shooting was able to drive the car to Morago. So there people have questions to ask. But the vehicle was shot at. I have seen photos used by police. So for me, the question that government must be answering, Mfono Pondo agrees that these things are frequent. The outrage that the president made, fingerprinting, guns, recruitment of LDU, this and that, there were many.
Cameras.
Why are they not stopping the frequency? Why are they not stopping? For me, that's what I want government to be answering.
Okay.
Because it is frightening for people who are moving sometimes at night. And these things don't have to be many for you to be frightened. Because when Abiriga was shot at, one MP, the president wrote to finance instructing them to buy a pickup per an MP, and he said he was going to deploy sharpshooters in writing after one MP had been shot and killed. So even if they are isolated, once you have those instances unchecked, they really cause a panic.
We are getting out of time. Katesh?
I say, why the only one?
First of all,
we are out of time.
Yes, of course, death is a very bad thing. This morning I lost my only uncle that is living. I extend condolences.
Yeah, sad.
So I'll be going to Shema. But I sympathize
I have a friend
with
who lost a brother as well.
I send my condolences to the person who died.
Moses lost his father-in-law last week.
Sorry. So it's not good to see this kind of incident, especially for a country that, I'm in a sector which is a very sensitive sector. Every time there is something like that and it goes all over the place, even if there are many shootings in some of the countries that we know, big powers where almost every week there are shootings.
Many people.
Here, a small incident like that becomes a very big issue, which it is, but it sends a bit of restlessness. But there are facts which are clear, that the vehicle was shot at. We have seen it. And so we should allow the investigators to do the investigation and not engage in speculation.
Nafi.
Oscar.
Move to the microphone.
I'm curious where these people saw pictures of a vehicle shot us. There's a picture with bullets.
Yes.
15 bullets.
You know, Nafi, we don't have time. We are out of time. Make your presentation.
Oscar, for me, I'm curious about how we ended up in a country where it has religious leaders who stage this kind of thing. And there's so many questions you have to ask about this. The fact that when Katumba Amara was shot, we all saw images. The whole public was there to witness this. You can't be shot at 10 p.m. in Nansana, and there is no public image that is coming out, no video of people capturing the event. And the person shot in the back is sitting a few hours later, seated upright, telling us that I am okay, I am not dead, and 2 days later, they're giving all manner of, actually 1 day later, press conferences. Do you know what it means being shot in the back? You can't move. You're running a fever, you're paralyzed, you're in ICU. And yet we see a pastor masquerading and prancing around giving press conferences with ministers, telling us how they are changing his bandages every 2 hours. And this person comes an hour, less than an hour later after reporting this incident, and there's not even a single drop of blood on himself, and he's telling us that there's someone who was shot 13 times, 13 bullets, and this person is seated next to you in a car, in a confined space, and there is no splash of blood on you. Okay. So for me, my problem with this whole country is how did we end up in a situation where we have religious leaders who are supposed to guide people, who are supposed to lead people, and they are masquerading and running around concocting stories, and then police is investigating, and then we have the military giving him security. And Oscar, there is something very, very wrong in this country.
Because of
the fact
one
that everyone
shooting?
seated here. No, that we have people like that, and these people are given security by government, and this kind of thing. I'm not even talking about the security issue of this all. I'm talking about the fact that we have people like that running around the country, and we have the security
on the same
forces.
one. And
going
then
around
for today, I'll
pretending
risk
that there is
closing the
nothing
show
wrong.
with Moses having final word. I'll risk. If the risk goes bad, I'll reallocate.
It was a very unfortunate incident where one person died.
Yes.
And I think what Nafi is saying is what Honorable Semuju was saying, people dramatizing an unfortunate situation. We have one in the studio doing it live, so it's a bit unfortunate, but I mean that happens.
Yeah.
But since the investigations are ongoing, we shall wait and see what they tell us. However, the concern of people being shot at real is for everybody. You can't know. You could be shot at accidentally in somebody's car, so you have to be alert all the time. So it's a very unfortunate thing. We salute, I'm sure, is handling. But also sometimes, other than question whether there were photographs, maybe we should question some of the things these people do behind the scenes. That could be a legitimate question. But to say there were no photographs, I mean, even Chigunu's death, I think, was photographed maybe an hour later because the car never left the scene. But if a car leaves the scene, what are they going to photograph? Unless wanted the Bijingo to photograph himself at the scene and drive to hospital. But otherwise,
Okay.
Otherwise, it was unfortunate.
Thank you. Moses, final word.
Final word. First of all, it's unfortunate for the incident have taken place. Thank God that Pastor Bijingo is alive, and it's unfortunately somebody died. But the criminality is everywhere in the world. The issue is how do you follow it up quickly. Semuji was talking about when the MP letter bringer was shot at, and then the president going to parliament and talked about cameras and so forth. These cameras are helping. You remember the court has just concluded a case where a lady was shot at in the Rubaga area, and the tracking of the people who shot that lady was called Kiinji. I've forgotten the name, but the case has been concluded in court with the conviction of the people of the killers, and they were followed up through the camera system up to the thing they were arrested in Mkono area. So the cameras are working. At least there's that case where somebody has been prosecuted and found guilty as a result of murder. So we need more, and that's why the president now is talking about the electronic number plates for both cars and motorcycles, so that you can easily follow up on such cases. So it's unfortunate what happened, but we need to strengthen our security system, to be more vigilant, to see who is who, and be able to report such a cases.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everyone. Star Cafe, powering the gang. Everyone has played their part, apart from Mr. Magezi. Mega Yogurt, thank you so much, Moses, for supplying. Today, OO has also brought some farm products. Let him speak for himself.
Semuju, 2 years ago in Mulanda, where Moses, Oscar, and Namfi Wanyoto came, and the little Lanya, I planted the Kitaferi.
And Justin Lumumba.
Sour soap, fruit.
It's growing 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. Maybe 2021.
I have mine for 5 years. It has not given me.
No. Your soils are bad.
5 years.
I'm now harvesting on average.
They are very expensive.
14 fruits. This is the first. I want to donate this to Oscar. He brought about 7 fruits for the gangsters.
Let me receive mine on camera. Thank you so much.
I have very good green, white inside. Very nice birds. I picked the seedlings from Zombo of all places.
The president said the money is there.
Thank you so much, listeners of Capital Gang. Happy New Year. Thank you, our guest, Mr. Magezi, Communications Officer from State House, ED KCCA, Dorothy Kisaka. Thank you very much for your contribution on Gang. We wish you all luck, and we hope the city will prosper. I am Oscar Semoyamsoke, and I shall see you